everyone. Good morning, good evening, good night. It's Dr. Lana back with Lana's Little Things, specialist gerontologist talking all things living agelessly, family caregiving, entrepreneurship, bridging generational gaps, and life itself. Well, today's going to be a little bit of a special time on number 168 because guess what happened? We have a hurricane. Hurricane is on its way. So we have a hurricane watch in effect for where I am in Barbados, as well as I will tell you who they are now. The other places are St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Martinique, Dominica, and Tobago, along with other Caribbean islands, and I see it passing across to Nicaragua and Honduras. Obviously, that's just the path of the storm, and it's circling because it is a circle, as you know. It's a low pressure area, and then all the winds go around and around and around, and that's where the damage is coming. It's supposed to have a lot of high winds, and it has been quite windy for the entire, I'd say, the last 2 days. But this one came on a little faster. So it's our first hurricane of 2024, and we're just in B. So it's Beryl, Beryl, Hurricane Beryl. There's Tropical Storm Alberto, which caused some devastation in Mexico, and just earlier this month, actually. So, what to do when you have a senior or you are a senior and it's hurricane time? So, we're going to talk a few tips that I got from mainly from the Federal Emergency Management Agency in America, but this is general anyway. And we in the Caribbean are no strangers to storms and hurricanes. However, in Barbados, I don't know, somehow because we are furthest east, the storm and we small, the storms go like eh, and duck under. So grateful that we have been spared quite a bit. I'm so thankful for that. And also holding grace to the space for our other Caribbean friends and family and neighbors because there is no storm. There's no uh, feeling like being in the midst of a storm and you just have to wait and see what it does and hope that what you have done has been enough to keep you safe and keep your family safe. And as a senior person, especially if you're feeling frail or you have other ailments or illnesses or mobility problems, it's going to be challenging. I mean, let's admit it. And those who are in nursing homes, they have a particular challenge as well. So we're going to talk again, as I said, about some safety tips in general for hurricanes. So, hurricane preparedness, and especially as a senior. So, there are some general things that you need to be aware of. First thing, do you have a kit? Do you have a plan, first of all? Has the family made a plan for hurricanes? So, first, should you stay in your home or should you leave? That is important to know because is your home safe? Do you have hurricane shutters? Even if you do not have hurricane shutters, because those can be expensive to fit out an entire house. Are your windows secure? Are there any panes of glass that would have needed repairing? I mean, when the hurricane is on, that's not the time necessarily to prepare, you know what I'm saying? But we know hurricane season, it can come anytime around May, June, goes all the way with climate change now, October, November sometimes. So we do have some things, and things can just spring up, and you thought you had everything covered, and something happens. So we go from as head to toe as we can possibly do tonight in the time that we have tonight. So, and it's very still right now. And calm before the storm. Actually feels very still. The crickets were quite loud a bit earlier, but they have gone quiet. They've battened down as well. So, hey, if we start to hear rain, or there's lightning, or this goes out, you'll know why. Right. So do you have a plan? And this goes for the whole family. But obviously, seniors, you need to be aware of certain things. Should you stay? Should you go? Is your house safe enough to go? Do you know the shelters near you? And do you know what category of storm? We're not going to go through the categories right now. We're not meteorologists. But there are five categories. And that depends on the wind speed and basically depends on the wind speed. So sometimes you can have like a tight system, but it's got high. Once it's 75 miles per hour, think of 75 miles per hour, kilometers an hour. Think of that speed. It's about what, 40 miles, 50 miles? That's fast. That is fast. And when those winds are circling and whoo, cycling like a banshee, I'm just saying it can be quite the thing. I've been in about three, four storms in my life. None devastating, thankfully, but it can be quite unsettling. So, and as seniors increase, you're gonna have to really know. And as storms increase, we talked about climate change earlier. I'll leave that video at the end here for you to review. We talked about the heat, but also with the heat come extreme weather conditions. So I know we just delay, going backwards a little bit, but just be mindful that a storm, natural disaster, natural occurrence, is only a disaster if we're not prepared as we can be. And even if we are prepared, there are things that can just happen. So let's see what we can do to mitigate this. Should you stay? Should you go? We're back with that again. If you stay, is everything in place? Is are any shakes or shells or shingles on the roof, are those loose? Can they come off? Is your roof safe? If it's galvanized, as it tends to be in the Caribbean, is that battened down? Did you get someone to nail it down? Are the windows secure? Is there panes of glass, as I said before, are they loosened? Bear in mind, we used to do this thing years ago, and then after a little while, it was realized you can't put tape on a piece of glass and expect that the storm wind is not going to damage it. What is a piece of tape to a hurricane that's coming at 7,500 kilometers an hour? Nothing. So no glass, uh, no piece of tape across a broken glass. X, horizontal, chinoiserie, whatever pattern you put, tape is not sufficient on glass. There is tempered glass that is much better to prevent shattering and can stay a little bit more gale force winds. But just be aware and just be mindful of your windows and the panes of glass and how safe they are. If they are not, you may have to put a block of board plywood over that door window on the inside. And if you have panes of glass in your door, of course, put a uh, piece of plywood, or you could even put just a piece of wood, a huge piece of that softer wood. Name is escaping me right now. You can put that over your door, over your windows, on the inside. You can also put it on the outside to act as a semi shutter. Bear in mind that the more you batten down outside, the less wind you're going to get inside. Electricity may go off. No fan, no AC. So you can imagine in the tropics, it's going to be hot. But you're just not doing the extreme. Just think of all these things. They come up, and they really do come up. If there is, do you have running water? Even if you have running water, have you collected all your buckets, bottles, cans, anything that can collect water? Make sure the kettle is full, make sure at least two saucepans are full, and that you have enough, as they say, enough for at least 3 days to 5 days of water. Bear in mind, it's 5 gallons per person per day. And 5 gallons might not sound like a lot, but trust and believe, might sound like a lot, but it's not. Especially when that's daily use, as separate and apart from what you need to flush the toilet with. Because if you have no water and everybody's using the toilet, you can imagine you need to have water to flush the toilet. So I'm going to come back in a bit and show you what 5 gallons looks like. Okay. Okay, so we're back. I went to source bottle. So this is remind the name, a 5 liter bottle. Now the equivalent of 5 liters to gallons is 18 gallons. And this is per day. So if you can do five 5 gallons, so you have to probably in the 5 liters, that's 18. We'll do the maths. So 3 times this is 18 uh, gallons a day. And if you have liters, you probably would have to have like 2 of these a day for your general use. No, that's about what is advised. Actually, that's a lot of water. So between drink, and it depends on your family size. So remember to avoid dehydration because you will need potable water. That's what we call water that can be consumed safely. Then there's water to flush the toilet because that is going to build up and there is going to create disease. So we don't want that. And so you should have your water all put down. Water, water, water. The air is going to be there for free. The water is something that you have to be mindful of. And if you know that water goes down in your area, do you know what my grandmother always taught me? Have a bucket or two and have some bottles. You may have a tank. You may not be able to have a tank. You may not have had a tank yet. That's your second goal. And always be mindful to the children that they can't just look at this water and drink it as if it's coming out of the tap. And you have to give a few days, if there's a hurricane system, to let the water kind of like flush out, and you can put purifiers in it, a little bit of Clorox, but they're lovely water purifiers. Just be very careful. So that's a bit of that. The shelter plan depends on what category it is. Right now it's a category 1, and shelters are around the island for those whose houses are not safe. Also, how will you be getting there? Who is your next of kin? Who is your next of kin's next of kin? Because as a family caregiver, you don't have to think about yourself. Remember oxygen mask first. How is your safety plan going? Do you have food? Do you have water? Do you have blankets? And this is even if you're not going to shelter. Have you checked that everywhere is secure? Are the floors secure? Is there anywhere that was leaking that you thought you saw? Is everywhere battened down? Do you need to have someone to put a few shutters across? Do you have some wood in the house that's safe that you can put across the window? Or you can put furniture across like the walls. Just make sure the walls kind of have that inner reinforcement. We've done this. It's just a matter of reminders. You're not scaring anybody. If you have to evacuate, you evacuate as a family. Know how you're going and where you're going. Whether you need wheelchair assistance, whether you need public assistance, whether you just need to have family. Remember, in terms of family and friends, telephone numbers are key. Right now, are all your devices charging? My phone is charging. This laptop is charging. Because when electricity goes off, as it ultimately will, and do you have a backup power supply? That is also very important. Some people have a generator. Yay. But everyone can't have a generator, but that might be ideal depending on where you are. So be sure to organize your plan, your transportation, your meals, and your water and safety in the house. Your medical plan. Are any of you on any medication? Do you have medication at least for 3 months? Some say 30 days, some say 3 months, some say 2 months, but at least one refill, which is a 30 day. So 30 days of your medications. And remember to monitor because stressful events to happen. Your blood pressure will go up, your blood sugar might go out of control, your cholesterol might start to go up. But have your medications with you. And be aware of any signs of dehydration, any signs that your blood pressure might be up. So what? With your monitor. Yeah. So that in case any physician passes by or you are in a shelter and the physician does wellness checks, at least you have all your things in a bag. You have your next of kin. You have your emergency kit. Suppose you have a medical directive. You have allergies. You have a bracelet. You have it written down. Anything that you need that you can think of, please have. important papers, all of your ID, are they in a box? Are they stored somewhere safe in like a, a clear bag or something like that? Do they have a clear bag? All your documents in a clear bag, your grab and go, as I call them, insurance, ID, birth certificate, divorce certificate, those sorts of things you need to have. Do you have anyone with hearing or seeing problems? Have you identified, well, hurricane drill? That might not have been possible. Is there mobility problem? Does everyone in the family know what to do? Is the water or the scooter requiring extra batteries? Do you need oxygen? All those things. We can't think about it today, but this is for the future. Now we're going on a bit longer, but just about two other things. Do you have a basic supply kit for any injuries? Your medical kit, your water, flashlights with batteries, mind, and electricity is going to go off. Remember, so batteries, and extra batteries, can opener. You believe how difficult a can opener it is to find, and you wouldn't think so. Toilet paper. What have we learned about toilet paper? A change of clothing. Galoshes. Personal hygiene items. Sanitary items. Extra underwear. Extra clothing. If you have infants, extra baby food. You have pets and they have to stay. Do you have their carrier? Most pets can't go into shelters. So if you choose to stay, are you going to take them to an animal shelter, or can you bat them down with them? Do you have something for yourself and your children and the older person for recreation so that they're not bored? It's going to be disorienting to go to someplace different. It is already disorienting to be in a storm. And so, calm. Just breathing, recognizing we can't control the storm. We can only control what we can do. So, summarize, be calm, be alert, be mindful, have your water, know where you want to go, have your supplies, have your medication, have an action plan. If you're going to stay in home, make sure that top to bottom they're okay. Are you on a height? Is your gas filled up? Do you have cash? Do you have your medication? Sounds like a lot, but if you itemize it and put a list, it'll be okay. And you know what? It will be okay. And it's a good time to downtime. Read a book, do a puzzle, spend some family time together. It is not the end of the world, and we can manage. We can manage. So, from my heart to yours, that's Lana on this special Hurricane Watch night. Not hearing any rain yet. Still calm. So, I will be updating you on how this goes. So, we might have a little earlier post than usual. But I just want to say be safe, be mindful, be secure. And to all our brothers out there in the rest of the Southern Caribbean, our thoughts are with you, one day at a time. If you're a senior, one day at a time. Family members, rally, 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 rally together. Do what you can and leave the rest to our Supreme Being, to God who knows best and who will take care and who has warned us that these things can happen so that we can be forearmed. I mean, forewarned and forearmed. Dr. Husband signing out, saying be safe, be mindful. Good morning, good evening, good night. Mwah.